morning, London. So I'm about to leave my lovely hotel to enter the city. 9:30, I'm on my way to GEARFEST. I'm on my way to Tile Yard. The weather is shitty, but I'm excited. 3 kilometers, half an hour of walking, they say, but I'm sure it's gonna be much faster. Let's break some rules. Hello and welcome to London, boys and girls. Welcome to Tile Yard. This is GEARFEST 2024, a wonderful high-end studio gear trade show, and all the big names are here. I'm really excited. Let me just read a few of them here. I see Kii Audio, I see PMC, I see Steinberg, Focusrite, Neve, API, Audient, Focal, and Shadow Hills, and the list just goes on. And what's interesting is this is like split up into a lot of different tents and booths and studios. So we've got a lot to explore. Time to invade GEARFEST and maybe even to turn it into Beerfest. Let's get started. It looks a little bit like Super Booth in Berlin. Okay, so they have a food court, that's good. So in case the event sucks, there will be beer. Neve and Neumann. Let's meet some Germans.
Hey man.
Hello.
My name's Anit. I absolutely fucking love your channel.
Thank you very much.
It's so fucking good.
That's great.
I watch it almost religiously.
That's great to hear, man.
Can I get a chance?
Just in 3 minutes, because I'm on my way to the Neumann booth to check out some
Amazing
German
speakers,
stuff.
yeah.
They're not the speakers, the mics.
Oh, the mics.
No, the speakers are great as well.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can sneak in here. And here we got all the Neumann classics that we all love, right? The U87, the U67 that they released, I think, 2 years ago. We got the U47 FET, and finally the M50. But you know what? They also have my favorite Neumann microphone that nobody knows. And you can see it here on the table. This one, kind of small and black. This one is the TLM 193. It's the transformerless version of the U89, and it's such a great microphone because it really sounds natural. It doesn't have the typical high-end bump that most condensers have, and it just, I don't know, it's very tweakable. It used to be my favorite vocal mic until I discovered the Austrian Audio OC818. Great on guitar cabs, great as overhead mics, and it's quite affordable. So if you don't need the fancy stuff, check out the TLM 193. Let's just head over to the next tent and see what we can find here. Oh, session desk. Some Germans finally. Sontronics. Never tried those mics. Beautiful looking mics. Auratone. I was never into that. AIM Audio. New microphones, always interesting. Boys and girls, I got some good news for you. We've got some giveaways today. You can win an Austrian Audio microphone and you can win an Audient USB interface. Stay tuned for more information, but all you gotta do is you gotta leave a comment under this video and you gotta sign up to my newsletter. Link below. Sell your soul to the devil. It's free. As you can see, I'm here with Anssi from Finland.
Nice to see you.
The boss of one of my favorite, the favorite speaker company. I always come back to Amphion, I gotta say that. So
You're welcome.
Yeah, no. It's just like, I've worked on a lot of speakers recently, but I always, when I come home to my main control room, I always feel at home again.
That's great. That's great to hear.
I got the 215.
Yes.
They're not the most common ones, right? People usually go for the bigger ones.
Yeah, but for the stuff you do, actually, I think quite a lot of people like the 215.
That's good information, by the way, because people always buy the big stuff because it's bigger and more expensive and better in a way. Because I remember checking out the 118 here, right? Is it that one?
Yes.
And as much as I appreciated like the definition and everything, it just wasn't my, let's call it voicing. It just sounded a little too anesthetisch for me.
Yes.
And then I was kind of forced into checking out the 215, which I didn't want to because I was like, it's probably going to sound the same.
Right.
And I immediately felt a lot more comfortable with. So if you're doing chuga heavy metal stuff, check out the 215.
215 is slightly different because it's. I'm not saying that making speakers is as much fun as making babies, but in a way.
Depends on how nerdy you are.
But in a way, you need to do the same thing as you do with children. You need to have them own way. You basically do them out of the same bits and pieces, but they can be very different in terms of their character or whatever. With the 215, we felt we can't force it in any way. So it took a little bit more lush shape in many ways. There's a little bit more lower mids versus the upper mids, which makes it, together with that fast 5 1/4, makes it very suitable for harder,
heavy music.
Harder squeaking guitars in a way.
Great. Actually, I wanted to talk about these beautiful boxes here. What are they called, the big ones?
125A.
Active.
Active, A for active, yes.
Why did you go for active now? Because
I mean, it's a funny world. People like to have things in boxes. Passive is like this, active is like this. It's ultimately, I think you choose your goals and then you kind of go with that. Of course, there are good and bad things about everything.
Yes.
Passive and active as well. I mean, they have different strengths. Of course, if you want to do something that you have higher SPLs that can be used in commercial facilities for post, then probably better to go for active, which allows you to have protection filtering, for example, which allows you to have very steep filters so that this guy won't be just does what he can handle and nothing else. But I must say, even if it's an active, it's kind of a hybrid. I mean, for example, the crossover board are just as passive and pure as we are in our other products. They're actually done out of passive components.
But don't you have the advantage that you can drive the different drivers with different amps?
I mean, this is of course what a lot of the people claim that we can do this and that, and yes, up to a point you can. But then again, the same you can do by choosing your own. If you do your own amp, you can do that in a passive domain as well.
Okay.
But of course, it's important to choose the component correctly. I mean, you would never thought that you would have to go through 14 different power supplies and amp modules to get the right ones for these.
Okay.
Because of course, where the 125A is different, even if it's an active, it's very simple. And this is, of course, simplicity is an Amphion thing. We believe very much in trying to make things or trying to push the acoustic design.
Yeah.
Because if we can achieve that, then we don't have to try to fix things electrically anymore. And the best part is a no part.
Yeah, I really like that. Yes, the simple approach, just an amp, a speaker, no filters, no bells and whistles, no nothing, and it works.
In many ways, it's similar to farm-to-table type of cooking. You take the best part of best ingredients, you put it on coal, nothing else. You put it on coal, and then what's better?
Get it right at the source. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the same thing applies here in many ways. We try to keep even here, and I think that's one of the things where a lot of the modern actives go wrong. If you think of the single path, it's super complicated. You have op amps now, especially when manufacturers start putting, suddenly they thought it's a great idea to put DSP into the speaker. Suddenly you start having, to me, totally unnecessary DA stages. Don't tell me that they don't have any impact on sound, and especially dynamics. This to me is one of the main things. Sound is one thing, but energy transfer is another. And to me, it's all about the energy transfer. Do the micro level details come through? And of course, one thing where also a lot of the monitors I feel fall short is depth information. The sound stage often is kind of this two-dimensional sphere in a way. But of course, when we do things a little bit differently, we actually cross over at much lower crossover point than many others do. So we get the driver combination to act in a point source manner, which is of course the only correct way of reproducing sound. So then we get very nice natural three-dimensional.
The amount of detail is impressive. I had to get used to it. I remember that.
Okay.
I remember doing my first mix. Or no, going back to the last mix I did on my old speakers, and then I heard it on the Amphions, and I could hear a lot of like lip noises from the singer.
Interesting. Okay.
I was like, okay. From there on, I could also hear it on other speakers.
Okay.
You know, but you need that moment that you. Okay,
Right.
So it's especially like very fast, like cymbal clicks, lip noises, and those details are impressive, because there are some speakers that for me are a little too detailed, which
Yes.
kind of take you away from the musical, like holistic kind of.
They kind of shine the light on a tree, not the forest.
Exactly. So, but for me, it's a really a great compromise. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
And another tent. It's bigger than expected. I was a little underwhelmed at first, but it turns out that you always find new places here. What's this? Heritage Audio. Oh, nice. I am here at the booth of one of my favorite microphone companies, Austrian Audio, and I'm here with Dave. How you doing?
How are you?
That doesn't sound exactly Austrian, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm the one that's not Austrian. Actually, I'm one of the original group that joined.
Can you fake an Austrian accent, maybe? Is it?
No, I can't actually. So I think the guys enjoy speaking English to me because they get to practice.
I mean, this is actually my desert island microphone, to be honest. I've talked about it so much on this channel. So today I thought, like, why don't we come over here and talk about your handheld vocal mics, right?
Well, especially as we're in middle of tour season right now. So we introduced this line about 2 years ago. Again, these are using our own handmade capsules. So we have a condenser and a dynamic, active dynamic.
Active dynamic?
Yes.
Why active?
So with the active electronics, we can have some special source in there for driving 100-meter cables if you want to, or a low-cut filter.
Active, okay. Active
Yeah,
filter.
so with the low-cut filter on the mic stand, you don't get all that rumble. So we also do a Shure compatible head, which is here.
Okay.
So this is for the wireless guys out on tour. So these are currently on tour with people like Muse, Burner Boy, lots of metal acts as well. Yes.
That's important. And it's also, I would prefer the dynamic one because it just looks more metal, right?
Well,
pitch black.
Yeah, you can certainly kill somebody with it, and
That helps as well.
With our black design, none more black.
But you also got, like, this is the condenser version,
Condenser, yeah. If it's grey, it's condenser, and if it's black, it's dynamic.
Okay.
So the big part of what we do is this open acoustic design.
Yeah.
So this is very deliberate. This is actually a dual capsule design inside there. It's kind of to also gently encourage the singers not to cut.
Yeah, that's what it's known for, right? Not sounding like, right?
Yeah, it's got a very controlled pattern, which is why this is popular on stadium tours, because you can have it on your wireless in front of the line array, and you're not picking up the speakers, you're picking up the singer.
And the good news is that we can give away one of those beautiful black, pitch black, heavy metal microphones from Austrian Audio. This is the OD505, and this can be yours. Thank you so much.
Cheers, nice to see you.
And it just goes on and goes on. Let's go into the gallery. Let's see who's here. I can see Warm Audio, nice. I can see a bar, even better. Softube, oh, I love their plugins. I'm here at the Softube booth, and I'm standing right in front of a very interesting piece of equipment. This is their Console 1 remote control. You guys know that I'm a big fan of the Softube plugins, and this thing is kind of like a channel strip that lets you control all their plugins from the same interface, which is kind of neat, don't you think? And to make this even better, you can now even control UAD plugins and FabFilter plugins using the same knobs, which is kind of handy, especially for stupid people like me. And in the meantime, I want to say, hello Sweden, hejsan Sverige, please send me one of those. I want to check it out. Make Noise Pro Audio, that sounds like my brand. Now look at this. This could be my favorite room. All lined up. API console, AMS Neve, and Rupert Neve.
Usually it depends on how you work with the
Which one is the most beautiful? Not sure.
choose the number.
I kind of like this design with the big VU meters. Wow. I am here at the wonderful Audient booth, as you can see, with my good old friend, Mr. Adam Steele, who is now working for Audient.
I am, yeah, full time.
How is it?
It's really good actually, yeah. I don't miss YouTube at all. YouTube sucks. No, I do miss it, but the guys at Audient are amazing, and it took a lot of convincing to make me a company man, so to speak.
I mean, they're also a partner in my academy called Audio Cult. I love the interfaces, I love the consoles, big Audient fan as well. But we are here to talk about immersive audio, about Atmos mixing, and I haven't done that yet. I'm still looking for some kind of opportunity to do my first immersive metal mix, and you guys have released the very first immersive audio monitor controller it is, right?
That's right, it's a USB interface or a monitor controller, depending on how you want to use it.
Aye.
It's both. So if you have a big studio setup already, you can take a couple of ADAT cables, and this is a monitor controller. Or if you have a room where you just want to mix, USB, easy, done.
So, but how do other people control all those speakers? There isn't anything out there, right? I mean,
No, well-
I can use my Avoset or my whatever.
That's
for
right.
that,
There are options that are difficult, complicated, where you'll have one unit that can take the audio, then maybe a separate unit that can calibrate it for the room, because when you've got a whole ton of speakers, you really need it to be calibrated, otherwise it's just mushy. I mean, you know what room problems are like with stereo? Times that by like 16 speakers.
Talking about room problems, because you guys got SonarWorks integrated, right?
That's right.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
And then, yeah, from there, you're spending a whole whack ton of money on all those separate systems. So we decided to roll it all into one. So all the EQ is done, so if you've got a bass problem on one speaker or some side of the room, it's fixed. Or, like Christian said, Sound ID, SonarWorks. This comes in the box. So you put it in the room, you measure it, takes about an hour, and then that loads straight into Oria. Once that's done, you don't need the SonarWorks software running. There's no latency, it's just on there, it's done.
Awesome. And what can I do here? I can switch between different setups, go from
Yes.
stereo to 7.1 point
That's
whatever.
right.
and-
So we've got this thing called profiles, because there are also two separate stereo outs for, let's say you've got your near fields, your main
Okay.
monitors as well. And when you switch, it switches the calibration as well, all one go.
Okay, great.
So if you've got nice set stereo monitors, but there's a 50 hertz problem fix, I like to work on, the white cone speakers that everybody knows, but they've got a horrible 1K thing. So I pull that out, and that's done. And then I just switch back to my Atmos rig. Done.
But this can also be used as a normal audio interface, USB interface
That's
with
right.
24 in out, or what is it?
It's got two ADAT ins and two console preamps. That's 18 in. Yeah. So it can be used that way, and we now have, with the latest driver update, our low latency mixers, so you can practically zero latency, give a foldback monitor. There's two headphone outputs, so you can run them for artists. Coffee,
Thanks.
coffee, coffee.
Warren Hewitt just gave me a cappuccino, thank you.
Wow.
I'm trying to get Anna here filming double macchiato.
Amazing.
Multitasking. It's interesting because there's not a lot of Atmos mixing in metal yet.
Not yet.
So, yeah, but I gotta try it someday. I just don't have, 17 speakers? Or no, it's 10 speakers? How many?
So the minimum you really need is 7 and a sub 5.1.2. But if you get a bigger room, it's better with 9.1.6. So I know somewhere where we have a room
At Audient?
at Audient
Okay.
where I can show you what this is all about. So let's cut to there.
That sounds like an invitation. Let's go. Some amazing news. Audient have a wonderful product that we can give away to one of you wonderful people out there. And this is the ID.
24.
I think I've shown it once on my channel. I did a mic preamp comparison. This mic preamp sounds wonderful. It's the classic Audient mic
console
preamp that
preamp,
you
yeah.
find in the consoles as
That's
well.
right. It's not a copy of or based on. It's actually literally lifted from the console. Which I don't know any other brands that do that, but hey,
No,
anyway.
but,
So the ID24 is, I mean, if you're a metal guy, this is if you don't need crazy channels, I think this is the ideal interface. It's got two of our mic preamps, but with the balanced inserts, which means like when I'm recording vocals, I'll put a compressor on the way in. So it's perfectly controlled, so if the singer goes like, blah, then it doesn't go into red.
I never record vocals without a compressor.
There you go. And also it's got 4 high quality analog outputs, so as well as your monitors, you can run something like a reamp box, which I do all the time. It's got the optical in and out as well, so there's another 8 ins, 8 outs if you want
But
the
that means
options.
if you have another micro, you got it 10 channels?
Exactly,
Mic-
yeah. So
Enough for recording drums.
Yeah, so if you're doing a small recording setup, this is huge amount of I/O. And it's got the premium features like the 10 dB pads and high pass filters inbuilt, so it's pretty premium for a 2-channel interface.
Awesome. So one of you guys can win this. Life's great.
Yes, make some good metal.
You can really get lost here. Tantrum Audio. So here they got like small control rooms. Nice. Nobody here. Here we have merging, Trinov, PSI audio. No, that's just me. Okay. And there seems to be an Atmos suite as well. Let's have a look.
Okay, yep, bless. And you?
Uh-huh. Wow. Okay. Okay. Time to check out some more speakers. I'm here with my good old German buddy, Thomas. He can't answer because he doesn't have a mic. We only have one microphone left. These are the Kii Audio Speakers. I've recently visited my friend Nolly and he is using them. And I was quite impressed, I gotta say that. What I think is interesting, you've seen the Amphion video before and I'm using Amphion, is that these guys have a totally different approach. But I listened to those speakers and I really enjoyed them. One thing that makes them special is the, is it called bass cardioid kind of thing? Which means they, like a cardioid microphone, you're right, they don't push the bass into the back, which will cause less room problems, so to say. And it sounds fantastic. The difference to Amphion is that there's a lot of digital bells and whistles inside of this, so a lot of AD/DA conversion, filters, delays, kind of stuff. But you know, I guess there are different ways to make things sound great. I gotta check them out, I guess.
And especially the new Kii 7s we have here for the first time.
Come close to my mic.
Yes.
Talk.
So it's basically the same as the Kii 3 in a smaller form factor, less headroom, and 2 drivers on the back that the Kii 3 have we left out. So we only have less driver surface, but we still go pretty low. And the cardioid,
Which means, what is pretty low?
it's almost as low as the Kii 3s, really. If you don't push them too loud, you can easily have like 25, 30 hertz in your production. And the cardioid is still going to like 130, 140 hertz.
Okay.
On the Kii 3s, it's down to 50 hertz. But other than that, the whole time alignment is the same. It's the same system with the key control, built-in volume control and everything. Cardioid response, full time correction. So yeah, you get
That was impressive, by the way. There are 2 modes how to run the speakers. One is like
low latency
mode, and then there's another mode that corrects all the drivers, so everything is perfectly in time, phase accurate, time aligned, which causes something like how many milliseconds?
90 milliseconds.
So not good for tracking, but it really improved the transients from what I can remember. Great speakers. How much are these ones, the new ones?
The new ones are in the UK 7,785, including VAT, and including the controller. So you have a monitor control and a full playback system.
That makes a difference. Thank you so much, Thomas.
You're
Danke
welcome.
dir.
Christian.
Boys and girls, I'm at the Cranborne audio booth again, and it looks like they have released a new EQ that I don't know, that was kind of under my radar, which is very, very interesting. It's the world's first harmonic EQ, as the guy behind the camera told me. And what makes it even more special, it is an analog EQ, fully analog, but it's digitally controllable, you see, from a plugin that runs in your DAW, so best of both worlds. What makes it special is that it's kind of like a saturation box and an EQ in one unit. So that means if you boost the frequency, you're also adding harmonics to that frequency, or let's say harmonics, which means like the octave above that and so on, you know. And if you pull out that frequency, you're still adding harmonics, which means you end up with a very colorful, very special sound that is, what they told me, far away from your regular EQ. So in case you're looking for something vibey and very sexy looking and recallable, best of both worlds kind of fucking whatever kind of thing, check out the Carnaby EQ from Cranborne. What a great day at GEARFEST here in London. I gotta say, I could not film as much as I wanted to, for several reasons. The main reason was that I just talked too much to too many people. But you know, you can't just work all the time. I really enjoyed meeting a lot of cool people, talking to the brands, and having one or two beers here and there. The other reason was I was sharing the cameraman with Warren Hewitt, and he was very busy, so I only had him for a very limited amount of time. Anyway, I had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this very spontaneous video. Still, I'm gonna do some more work here in the UK. The weather is nice, the beer is good. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.